Hello learners, today in this video we'll try to understand India's Middle East policy and also how the Israel-Palestine conflict is going on and what is the approach of our country towards this kind of conflicts on the global arena. And also secondly, this topic we are going to learn with mapping. At least we will try to map the Middle East, if not the individual countries. The whole of Middle East will try to map, see in and around water bodies, whatever are there. So, itself it is telling that we have some kind of historical ties with the country or the region of the world, and also we have strategical interest because we know the geographical importance of this particular region of the world. There's a lot of oil presence over there. There's a lot of economic activities, and also if we see the international trade happening, there has to be passage of the Mediterranean region and also through your Suez Canal. So this kind of strategic importance is there, and for every country it is important to maintain that, even though the interests are aligning towards the right. And before starting, as always, we'll see the relevance of this particular topic, because we're not just here to gather the information or gather the news just for our entertainment purpose. Every article or every topic we are going to try to link how it is useful for the UPSC syllabus, so that we can enrich our answers. If not our answers, they will be utilized in our prelims, or at least to come down or sum down the options. So firstly, obviously it's very important for our international relations part of the syllabus, because one can ask you to analyze the India's balancing act between Israel and Arab nations. If we see, there's a divide between two things. One, the Arab nations where your Saudi and all the countries come part, and the other is the Israel, Jewish part. So there is a kind of a conflict in religion, culture and everything, kind of a phenomena. So it's very important to analyze, or the questioner can ask you to analyze the difference or the similarities or the interest between the two spectrums. And also there is energy specific interest, because we know the region is very rich in this context. And also if we see, there's a saying by the experts that all the educated Indians will be moving to the West. That is your US and your European countries, and all the low or unorganized skilled people or the laborers will be moving to your Middle East country. So as much as important that Indian diaspora is present in USA, in the same way it is highly present in your Middle East country. So definitely this is an interest point, and examiner will ask or expect you to analyze this. So study the role of the Middle East, India's economy and remittances. And obviously in your current affairs there is at least a small article or at least small portion of your newspaper will be about the conflict. At least any insurgent group's name at least will be there, or Israel or any other country reacting to this particular country. So ongoing developments in Israel-Hamas conflict and India's diplomatic stance. And also they can ask you as an essay topic, asking like India's foreign policy approach to Middle East, implications of Israel and Arab conflicts on global stability. So this kind of multi-dimensional approach or multi-dimensional relevance of GS papers to connect. Do not directly link an article or a newspaper directly to the core. Try to see or brainstorm yourself that where and all this particular topic can be used. So we'll move forward with this topic. Yeah, firstly, why it is important? As I told, we have historical ties and we have energy security interest with growing diaspora. So three major important. Historically we are connected with them, so we need to carry on that forward. Secondly, our energy interest, and thirdly our diaspora presence. And also it's very pivotal because of your geopolitical location, so that it can evolve supporting, and we wanted to support Palestinian cause. At the same time, we wanted to balance a neutral or a diplomatic ties with our Israel. So it's a very challenging kind of situation for India, and it requires a lot of diplomatic research and the diplomatic acumen to deal this kind of the region. And also so coming to this, we follow strategic autonomy. It's a core concept of your IR syllabus. We are trying to maintain the autonomy because we have our interest and also we do not want it to hurt anyone's sentiments. So that kind of autonomy, that kind of standout perspective towards the world we carry. So because of the interest, because of the ongoing whatever situation, we are having certain kind of a strategy, or we wanted a different strategy to approach this region. So firstly, we'll see the map, or we'll see what and all the countries are located in this part of the world, and we'll see what are the in and around water bodies. So your Middle East comprises, if you come from the east, yours first would be your Iran and your Iraq and Israel. See, if you do not know these three eyes how to place, just remember when you are moving west to from Gujarat, if you are walking towards the Middle East, from India, Gujarat, when you are walking, first you will meet your Iran, then your Iraq, then your Israel. In this way, you can, remember. And down, our very big Saudi Arabia. And down of this, you have Yemen at the left, and at the east, you have Oman as a country. And also, we have UAE. See, there are a lot of times I've seen who have just started the preparation connecting UAE or Dubai to your Saudi. No, these two are the different regions of the world. Saudi is a separate country, and also your UAE. Dubai is part of your UAE. And also here we have Qatar. Qatar, and the top very small island-like region, it is Bahrain. Top of Qatar and beside your Saudi. And you have Kuwait as a region. And here, coming to the Israel in and around, we have Jordan, and it's the landlocked country. Remember it, one can ask the question. And on the top of Israel, or on the north of Israel, is your Lebanon. On the east, we have Syria. And on the south, we have Egypt. This is part of your Egypt itself, which is called your Sinai Peninsula. Here is where your Suez Canal. We'll come to the water body. First, this is the political map of your Middle East, and also Turkey is there, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, but the major chunk of the Middle East or the Arab nations is this middle part of the region. So coming to the south, they have over here Gulf of Aden and Persian Gulf, and also they have connectivity to the Arabian Sea, and beside your Oman we have Gulf of Oman. So remember the four parts: Arabian Sea, you have Gulf of Aden, your Persian Gulf, and Gulf of Oman. And to the left of this we have Red Sea. So Saudi Arabia has the maritime connection with the Red Sea, where your Suez Canal is present. And here is your Mediterranean Sea. And at the top we have Black Sea, and also here we have Caspian Sea. So in this way, this part of the region is very rich because they have the connectivity with the water bodies in and around the region. So if you can politically place, and if you know that some kind of dominance you can understand, because Saudi Arabia is kind of a very bigger in land, vast in geographical extent, comparatively with the other countries. And Israel is over here. So in middle there is Jordan. See, when you study the political maps of any country in the perspective of IR, you will understand why a particular country has to wage a war. Either it can be with your neighbor, either it can be that particular country is your neighbor, or secondly it can be some other influences falling on the country. So this is the political map, and in and around water bodies present in your Middle East region. Now we'll analyze the Middle East policy. So what do we have? Historical context. I'm telling you that we have historical ties with this region of the world. Firstly, since 1975 onwards, we are supporting a Palestinian, interest. We wanted Palestinians to have a separate statehood. Palestinian is a part or a region inside your Israel. It's a total different topic to study. We'll study when we are trying to map Israel in particular region. So, Palestinian conflict, we are supporting their stance regarding, or their demand regarding the statehood. And we have established relations in 1988 itself. And coming to Israel, we have established our diplomatic ties in 1992. Since then, we have seen progressive, and if there is any technologically transfer or an advanced technology transfer, irrespective of any reason, and also specifically if it is defense, it would be with Israel or either with Russia. So in prelims, when they ask you this kind of questions, if you know the importance of Israel and India's connection or relations, in the question, when you go and like brainstorm, okay, the question is asking something about defense or something about the bond or something related to the technology transfer. If you know that Israel is there in the options and the other options are just odd one out kind of things, this kind of approach, if you know, if you have a deeper analysis or if you have brainstormed exact reason for an incident or for a war or for any ongoing conflict, you can easily try to cut down the options or try to eliminate. See, these are not like a simple, easy tricks. These are your mental ability or your, it's kind of your attitude towards the question and an approach towards the concept. So, now you understood that we have established ties with 1992 with Israel, and as well we have some kind of connections in 1975 itself. That means any approach towards this conflict would be neutral. We'll try to stay autonomous. As I told, our energy security or energy interest is there because crude oil is like a key major import from this particular region, and we have like over 60% of this import done from especially your Iraq, Saudi, UAE and Qatar. Coming to the trade relation, India's top trading partner is our Gulf Cooperation Council, collectively accounts for significant trade. Okay. Gulf Cooperative Council, there's a council, it's a kind of a body which is responsible collectively in that Gulf region. Why it is Gulf? Because of the water body present. So this is our energy security interest and the trade interest. And coming to our Indian diaspora, there are over 9 million Indians in the Middle East which contribute $50 billion of the remittances annually. As our diaspora is important in US and Canada, that very important is the presence in the Middle East. And coming to defense and technology, as I told, Israel supplies advanced defense systems like our Barak missiles and UAVs, while Gulf nations invest in Indian infrastructure and technology. And then also we can see soft power being used in this part of the region. If we see all our actor and actresses will have their contribution in Burj Khalifa, that kind of things, any organizer or any event happening in Dubai would be a lot of money inflowed from Indian citizens itself. So this kind of defense technology transfer or knowledge transfer or also even culturally presence is there in the region. So we need to have an autonomic or we have to have a strategic kind of a perspective over this region. Nextly, what happened in the recent initiatives or partnerships or any kind of international organizations present? Firstly, we have Abraham Accord. Abraham Accord will again come in picture because Trump 2.0 is starting. This has happened during 2020 and India supported to normalize the ties between Israel and the Arab states. And it is an opportunity for regional stability. India is advocating for peace and regional stability, and we know that Abraham Accord was being proposed or at least taken forward by Trump. So India wants that kind of regional stability in that region. And also we have India UAE CEPA in 2022. CEPA is nothing but your comprehensive trade partnership. So CEPA is your comprehensive economic partnership agreement to deepen the economic ties. And very important, I2U2 initiative, India, Israel, UAE and USA. Don't worry, USA will be present anywhere whenever there comes, especially if that particular region is rich in something, USA's presence will be there. So it's a collaborative projects in technology, food security and energy because Israel and UAE is part of your Middle East. So this organization is very important. And we have strategic agreements in regarding our defense, counter-terrorism and investment pacts with Saudi Arabia, UAE, which is highlighting that we are deepening our partnerships with that particular country bilaterally. And also we have international organizations relating to this part of the world. One, we have, as I told, Gulf Cooperative Regions, which is vital for trade and energy. And OPEC we have, which influences global oil prices, impacting India's energy imports. It's a key organization of this part of the world. And we have Arab League, where India is engaging in regional dialogues and partnerships with the Arab nations. And in general, we have United Nations, where we are trying to advocate peace or solutions in the region, because this region is always, or at least once in a year, it will be in conflict. It's a very unstable situation. If we see Syria, they'll have some kind of civil rebellions. Coming to Lebanon, because Syria and Israel are in conflicts because of our Golan Heights, some kind of key strategic areas are there, like we are fighting for our Jammu Kashmir with Pakistan and some region with China. In the same way, every country will have problem or hiccups with the neighboring countries. So some kind of strategic places are there where Israel and Syria will always be in fight, and also Israel and your Lebanon will always be in fight, and also Jordan will be in fight. So because of these ongoing conflicts, and main importantly ethnic conflicts and also insurgent groups arising, so because of this kind of conflicts always running in this part of the region, India will always come in the picture and try to advocate peace. So the general forum is our United Nations. So now what is happening? The ongoing approach, whatever is happening in Israel-Hamas conflict, what is India's approach? Firstly, we wanted a balanced approach because we stand for peace and stability. So India condemned the terror attacks on Israel while reiterating support for two-state solution. We are saying you guys kind of separate and try to find peace. So we are trying to have a kind of a balanced approach. Like we don't wanted to support either of the countries because we have established diplomatic ties with the two countries. Hamas is your insurgent group present in your Gaza Strip region of the Israel. Diplomatic moves. India is supporting humanitarian assistance in Gaza and emphasizes dialogue to de-escalation tensions. See, diplomatic moves and your humanitarian crisis. I don't know what is United Nations doing. The lot of people dying. If you see in the YouTube advertisements as well, the lot of Israelis or also Hamas people who are civilians are coming into the advertisement and seeking help or trying to at least have the basic necessity of food. Women are going through lot of atrocities. So it is also there is an impact on the diaspora because of Indian citizens present. We want their safety, so we are trying to bring them back. You try to go and read or recall or revise what kind of operations we have did so that our Indian citizens are returned back to the country safely. Key implications. See, energy security. Rising oil prices due to conflict could impact India's energy imports. Because of this particular conflict, obviously they'll try to focus on the conflict rather than exporting anything. Yeah, economy will be running at the back end. We know war, there's a certain kind of also a debate or also an essay topic that war is for economy or war is for some kind of financial inflow. War and economy is always related and also contradictory. So, in the one spectrum, when the war is going on, our energy security will get impacted for sure. And diaspora safety is also the main priority because I told you there are millions of people present in the region. Indian nations conflict zones, especially in Israel and the West Bank part. Geopolitical maneuvering. Balancing ties with Israel and your Arab nations amidst heightened tensions is very key challenge for our country. It requires a lot of proper strategic diplomatic policy or some kind of a unique approach towards the problem. Global stance. India's position reflects its strategic autonomy, aligning with its non-aligned roots. We know the NAM policy. aligned rules while protecting economic and security interest. So India want everybody, whoever are involved, to come in forward and have a peace dialogue, so that if not their political interests are satisfied, at least they are concerned about the humanitarian crisis or humanitarian grounds where civilians are going through a lot of things. Actually, they do not deserve that. So we are advocating for ceasefire and all. So this is all about like a brief understanding of India's approach towards the conflict and India's approach towards the Middle East part.